Howdy, folks. I'm not in an HOA.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit.
And we have a special guest joining us today.
Amber has a little ghastly.
Yes.
She's kind of dressed up in a ghastly type
attire.
attire.
I had a kind of a ghastly cosplay going on. I have some little sheet ghost earrings because ghost type. Yeah. And this is my little ghastly plush I made to go along with my look. So
yeah, she made it.
I did.
And I helped.
I don't think you actually did anything for this one.
Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Being in an HOA? I inherited a house a few years ago after the passing of my grandfather. The timing was perfect and I had just graduated and it wasn't that far from the area that I wanted to work. About 2 or 3 years ago, a development company bought up a bunch of the surrounding properties to build a semi-gated community. The fence for the community ends a good few yards away from my property, but isn't closed all the way. Now that people have moved in, I've been getting HOA letters about fees, my lawn, and my house paint. I tried emailing the HOA president, but they never got back to me. I crashed the last meeting that they had and explained that my house wasn't part of the neighborhood and therefore was not part of the HOA. The president and the board members tried to say that I was because of how close my property was. It isn't, and I have the documentation from the development company and the county saying that it isn't. After the meeting, the president emailed me back and said that regardless of the particulars, I should still try to conform to the rest of the community because I was bringing the property values down. I know that I was very lucky in getting my home, and I don't want to negatively affect others, especially considering the current market. Am I the jerk for not listening to the HOA? How are you impacting the current market? Houses are at an all-time high. You aren't negatively impacting the market, OP. If anything, it doesn't matter. All the houses are overpriced.
Yes.
What are they trying to do? Make sure to crank up the prices even more?
Probably. I mean.
So, no. OP.
Not the jerk.
Not the jerk. HOAs, in theory, could be a good thing, but in practice, generally, they are not, in my opinion, or at least from what I've heard about them.
Yeah, I don't like HOAs.
So, HOAs, they can go take care of themselves and stop pestering you. And if they don't, maybe seek out some legal counsel to get a cease and desist letter written up for you so that they do take you seriously and leave you alone. But otherwise, they're probably going to continue harassing you. So, yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck.
Our next story is, Am I the jerk for calling a guy a loser after he said he didn't like my outfit? I'm a 19-year-old female, and my classmate, who's a 19-year-old male, always says he likes that I wear jeans and sweatshirts and don't try to look nice, which I didn't ask and I kind of take offense to. But this weekend, I ran into him at a costume party. I was dressing nice and wore a sultry lace corset with a matching skirt. He came over and said he likes the way I normally dress for class better and said people will sexualize me, to which I said, good, that's the goal, loser, and I didn't ask. And then he called me the B word and left the party early.
Sounds like more like a him problem and less of a her problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe it was a smidge out of line to call him a loser, but... Well,
I would say it's not necessarily nice, but I wouldn't say it's out of line.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think he's being a jerk here. I think he's putting his opinion where it doesn't belong.
Right. He's always giving her unsolicited advice on her outfits and, like, trying to, as if she...
You aren't like the other girls.
That's exactly what it feels like, is like, you're not like the other girls type of thing. Like, and it, like, she never asked for your opinion.
Yeah, she tries dressing comfortably when she's at school because she's at school.
Right.
And maybe now she's just trying to have a good time and she didn't ask for this guy's opinion and here he is.
And she's not dressing up for you.
Yeah,
like, she acts like, oh, well, I like the way you dress at school better. Like, well, she's not wearing this for you.
Congratulations, bub. But too bad. So sad. Go away. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for saying that I won't go to my sister's wedding after she demanded a specific gift? My sister is getting married in December. About 3 weeks ago, she sent me and my husband a link for a gift that she wanted us to buy for her. It was very, very, very expensive and a weird gift for a wedding. But she said that this is what she wanted us to buy her. My husband responded that we appreciate the suggestion and would take it into mind when buying her a gift. She responded that no, it wasn't a suggestion, that it was what she wanted us to buy. He told her that it was very expensive and we might find something similar for them. She replied again with no, she wanted that. Then she sent further 3 links that we could purchase the item in the US so it wouldn't be shipping overseas. I told her that it wasn't going to be possible for us to buy it. She told us that we need to show up with the gift and this is what she'll accept from us. There was a little more back and forth over the week that followed until ultimately I told her that no longer would we be attending if the gift was more important. She said fine, F me, and I was going to let a gift stop me from showing up and supporting her, then I was a bad sister. Spoiler alert, you're not.
Yeah, you're not the one who is making this about a gift.
My parents can't believe we are no longer going. They said my sister is just being a brat and I should still show up and bring whatever gift we choose. Am I a jerk?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's pretty straightforward. What do you folks think? Jerk, not the jerk? I mean, I would have a really hard time faulting OP in this situation. This is such an outlandish request. I mean, generally, like, there are multiple gifts on a gift registry at varying prices so that people can, buy them,
Right. And they're always, like, optional if you bring a gift. Like, you may want gifts, but anyone who, like, the point of a wedding is a celebration, not a gift grab. And
What? Wait, what? When did that happen?
It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah, no.
Although some people, like OP's sister here, seem to treat it more like a gift grab than, like, a celebration of love and new life together.
I would rather have people at the wedding and no gifts than lots of gifts and no people at a wedding.
Right, exactly. Our next story is titled, Am I the Jerk for Buying Tampons Without Telling My Wife? Hello, Am I the Jerk squad? I'm a 35-year-old male here, and my wife is a 32-year-old female. I got myself into quite the situation. About 10 years ago, I used to have this really nice aquarium. It has since gone defunct and the tank and parts have been sitting in the garage at my parents' house for years. I recently had a thought of restarting my aquarium hobby, so I stopped by my parents' house to do a little inventory inspection. The tank was still in great shape. However, the filter was questionable. It looked like I hadn't done a great job cleaning it a long time ago. I brought the filter home to see if I could get it cleaned and working. The main problem was there was grime in the intake, which is just a long plastic tube with elbow joints. After a bit of thinking, I had the idea of trying to use a tampon to clean it, soak it in soapy water, and pull it through the tube using the string a bunch of times. My wife doesn't need tampons because of her birth control, so I couldn't steal one from her. I ended up just ordering some from Amazon. 2 days later, I gave it a try, and it worked. The intake was nicely cleaned. This is when the problem began. My wife saw the tampon wrapper in the wastebasket of the room I was working in and immediately confronted me about it. To say she was angry was an understatement. I would say I'm about 50 pounds heavier than my wife, and I was still scared. Long story short, she thought I had another woman in the house while she was away. I explained to her that it's not what it looks like. I recognize the cliche here, and that I bought the tampons for myself, which is also not what it looks like. I explained what I use them for, and I showed her the purchase in my Amazon app as my proof. My wife calmed down once everything was explained, but she was still mad at me. She said I should have told her that I was going to buy the tampons preemptively for her awareness. Am I the jerk here?
So, what do you think?
I'm going to say this is more of a communication failure than anyone being a jerk here.
Yeah, I don't think there are any jerks here. I think that the wife might have overreacted slightly.
Right, but then again, like, if there's no one in the house who uses a tampon and she sees a tampon in the wastebasket, her immediate thought isn't going to be, he's cleaning out this fish tank.
Wow, also, like, has he never heard of pipe cleaners? I wonder what I could possibly use for cleaning out this fish tank.
I mean...
I'm not saying that they're not useful.
Yes, well, I mean, this just goes to show that yet another use for tampons.
Yeah.
If you're ever wondering what you can use them for,
Yeah.
here you go.
I mean, I think this is a great use. I think he came up with a clever solution, but I think they invented pipe cleaners first.
Yes.
So no, I don't think he's a jerk. I don't think that she's a jerk, and I can understand why she reacted so, abruptly, because she saw a tampon in his wastebasket.
Right, and so I don't think, like, he needed to tell her, because, like, it didn't occur to him, but that's just, like,
Yeah, well,
I can see why she's confused and upset at the sight of the tampon wrapper.
Yeah, I can see why he didn't tell her, and I can see why she's upset. I think it's just one of those things where they'll laugh about it in a week.
Yeah.
Remember that time that I thought you were cheating on me with a fish tank? Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for requesting that my brother gives me $20,000 to help me pay for my wedding since he makes a lot more than me? Common themes.
Pounds.
20,000 pounds.
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 So like
20,000
even more than
pounds.
$20,000 US dollars is
And
all
was
I
like-
meant.
And I was like, Brian, why are you making fun of the way I said pounds?
I had a piece of hair in my mouth. I'm going to blame it on that.
I'm a 23-year-old female, and I'm engaged to my fiance, a 27-year-old male. I am also the mother to my
I'm also the mother to my mother.
I am the mother to my mother. I am my mother's mother. I am I am also the mother to my daughter, who's a 4-year-old. I wasn't able to go to the university full-time since I was raising my daughter. However, I am currently studying history online, where I will hopefully be able to become a history teacher. Balancing studying while raising my daughter hasn't been easy. However, having my fiance supporting the family has really helped, since my fiance works in a research lab. We have enough money to live comfortably, but saving up money to have our dream wedding would take years. My brother, a 28-year-old male, works at a hospital as a doctor. His wife also works at the hospital as a doctor, so to say that they are well off would be an understatement. My brother hasn't had the same struggles of raising a child since they both don't want any children. I don't mind the fact that they both don't have kids, but they have been able to save a lot of money due to this. Recently, I asked my brother if he would be able to help pay for my wedding, since having him contribute to my wedding would help make it a magical moment for me. It's not already going to be a magical moment for you, then maybe this isn't the right thing for you.
Yeah.
My brother offered to give me £5,000 towards the wedding, which honestly surprised me. I might be wrong here, but surely as a hospital doctor, my brother should be able to contribute more to my wedding. I told him that I really appreciated it if he could give me £20,000 for my wedding, since it would really mean a lot. But he refused. How unreasonable. I would be lying if I didn't make my annoyance with my brother clear. And I told him that his refusal to help me pay for my wedding is selfish. But he didn't refuse.
He offered £5,000.
He didn't refuse to help her with her wedding. And that if he doesn't help contribute to my wedding, which he did offer to do, by the way, folks, I feel like there's a huge disconnect in this letter.
Yeah.
Then he won't be able to come, since it isn't my fault that I don't have a lot of money to fund my wedding.
But it isn't his fault either.
We had an argument afterwards, and I haven't been returning his calls since. The rest of my family is helping to contribute to my wedding, which makes his refusal even worse. What is wrong with you? Really? Are you this entitled? Bridezilla. Despite my brother's action, my father thinks that I'm being too harsh on my brother, and that me not inviting him to my wedding would be upsetting for him. Am I missing something here? Yes! What is wrong with this person?
I don't even know.
Where do you get off being like, oh, £5,000 isn't enough. You need to pay me an additional £15,000.
Right, like you can have a decent wedding on £5,000 because that's like,
So, like, this doesn't even make any sense because, like, he's not going to probably come to that wedding and use £5,000 worth of resources.
Right.
Right. So by him not coming to the wedding and not funding £5,000 worth, she's literally missing out and making her wedding worse for it.
Well, and this is oh wow, he makes a lot of money, so like he's basically obligated to pay for my wedding. Like,
and you know what you don't have to do, OP? You know what you don't have to do, OP? You don't have to work in a hospital during a pandemic. So,
Right.
congratulations for being insensitive.
Well, I also want to point out he's 28.
Yeah.
Which means he probably just finished med school
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
So he probably still has a lot of student loan debt because med school is expensive.
Yeah.
So making the assumption that he's already well off is a pretty big assumption to be making.
Yeah.
But even if he is, he's not obligated to pay for your wedding.
Exactly. Like, no. OP, apologize to your brother immediately.
And it seems like you're way more concerned about the wedding than the marriage. Like, weddings are nice, they're fun, but that's just such a small piece of it.
Yeah.
And if you're more focused on having the dream wedding than the marriage that comes after, then you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for putting my wife on a budget? We got married this past March. I'm 25, she's 23, and for her, it's been a spending spree ever since. Hundreds at a time on clothes, accessories, makeup, and all others that fall within that ilk. Little trinkets for interior design, just spending all the time. I make an okay living, and the only reason we aren't underwater is because I don't buy anything. After running up $550 on a coat, I finally decided enough was enough. I built a spreadsheet, explained it to her, and wanted to handle things like adults. She acted like she was nodding off, struggling to stay awake. She looked like a high school kid stuck in the most boring class in school. When I was done, I didn't expect a fight. I thought it was fair. She, on the other hand, doesn't view this as a budget that benefits us both. She views this as I'm dominating her and I'm constricting her. Am I the jerk?
Such domination, such constriction. Oh no. How dare you limit my money spending? Are you sure this isn't the person from the last letter?
Yeah.
This is after the wedding.
Yeah. Like, it's important for people to have money in relationships that they can spend on leisure things, but like there's a point of excess, and it sounds like the wife has well beyond exceeded that. Like, if they're just barely staying afloat because he never buys anything for himself, that's not a good situation to be in.
And he might have been like, well, maybe she's just buying this one or two things, and then being like, okay, yeah, hopefully things will calm down after that. But then she kept spending more and more and more, and he's probably like, I have to talk to her. I have to sit down with her and be like, we can't afford this. Please stop spending all of our money. I don't want to be homeless.
Yeah, well, exactly. And that's the thing is, like, in a relationship, you gotta work within the means and the budget of the relationship.
Exactly.
Like, we give ourselves a certain amount of money each month as like fun money that we can spend on whatever we want. But beyond that, you know, we have to talk about things and make mutual decisions. And so I think that's a really fair way of doing it, giving each partner a certain amount of fun money that they can spend as they want, and then, you know, whatever else, like and a lot of people in the comments suggest similar things, like having individual accounts and then a joint account where all your mutual things go through,
and just never let her have access to the mutual account, the joint account.
Yeah, at this point in time, like
just give her an account of her own that she direct deposit in each month.
Yeah, so I don't think OP is in the wrong. I think they should have discussed finances before getting married, but a lot of people, they're young, people make mistakes. And so I don't think he's in the wrong for asking her not to spend all his money.
Yeah.
Or all their money.
Yeah.
We don't know how much she's contributing, but she's contributing something to the relationship, so she has some entitlement to it, but not all of it.
All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for being mad at my wife for throwing out the dishes? This is a throwaway account, just like your dishes. My wife and I have been having this argument for a while, and she thinks that I don't rinse the dishes well enough before putting them in the dishwasher. She's brought it up several times. Apparently, the dishes aren't getting clean enough in the dishwasher for her liking, and she keeps having to rewash them because they have dry food stuck to them. I've never seen her do this, and I've never noticed an issue whenever I unload the dishwasher myself. So I keep telling her that I'm not doing anything wrong. Well, finally, she got sick of it, and one day when I got home from work, she told me that if she finds any more dishes that didn't come clean in the dishwasher, she was going to throw them out because she's sick of rewashing them. I shrugged it off as an empty threat. She values our belongings more than that, or so I thought. Sure enough, last night, I went to grab a butter knife, and we were out of them, even though I had heard her finish unloading the dishwasher right before I walked into the kitchen. I threw away a paper towel a minute later and found several of the knives in the trash. I did a quick inventory of our kitchen and found that we were low on plates and other silverware as well. I confronted her about it. She admitted to throwing them away because they came out of the dishwasher dirty. She's been doing this all week. And our trash has already been collected this morning, so it was pretty much all gone, save for a couple of knives. It turned into a big argument, our biggest argument. I can't believe she would throw away our stuff like that with no thought as to how much it would cost to replace the items, and they weren't even damaged to begin with. She feels that she's justified because she warned me that's what she'd do if I didn't do what she asked. Who's the jerk here? Edited to add, in all fairness, I forgot a detail to include. The knives I recovered from the trash were in fact dirty. There was black gunk on the teeth of them from me slicing a banana the day before. I think this was an incredibly immature way for them both to handle this.
I mean, I have mixed feelings about this. Like, I definitely think he is more of the jerk here than she is. Like, I don't agree with throwing out plates. It's not a good thing to do, but I can also see the absolute frustration and wit's end that she has to continually rewash these dishes.
Sure. I don't disagree with that. I do see the frustration here. And, I mean, at a certain point, maybe she should just let him have the dishes from the dishwasher and just bought herself paper plates or something like that.
Yeah, like that's probably how I would have handled this, is just like buy paper plates and be like, okay, you want to use those dishes, go right ahead.
But this is a public service announcement mixed in with the Am I the Jerk letter. Probably what's happening here isn't so much that he is not rinsing the dishes off enough, but that their filter is dirty in their dishwasher. If they aren't cleaning their dishwasher filter, and yes, all dishwashers have filters, so if you have a dishwasher and you haven't ever cleaned your filter, you should probably go do that. It's going to be gross. So clean your dishwasher filter, and that's why most of the time your dishes are actually getting dirty, and sometimes you need to add a little extra dishwasher detergent at the beginning of the cycle. I mean, if you read your dishwasher manual, then it might actually say something to that effect. So usually you'll add a little extra at the beginning of the cycle before you start it up, and then you also add it into the tray. So that way you get them washed off a little bit more. So it just sounds like they aren't using their dishwasher correctly, because this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, in general, you shouldn't really have to rinse your dishes before putting them into the dishwasher these days.
Yeah, and sometimes dishwashers have very specific instructions, so it just sounds like they aren't utilizing their dishwasher the way it's meant to be, or it's a really old dishwasher
old
that's
models
broken.
will have issues.
So maybe they should have gotten a new dishwasher instead of throwing away all their dishes. Now they can save up for a new dishwasher too. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Ghastly for being here. Ghastly and Ghastly.
Boy, thank you for having me. I forgot. I thought you were talking about my little plushie.
No.
That's why I was like, yes, thank you for having me. But when are you going to thank Amber?
I was like, Ghastly and Ghastly.
Yeah, I got it when you said Ghastly and Ghastly. But at first I decided, I was like, okay, you're thanking your plushie. You're deliberately excluding me.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.